Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime, the Livid Lady's Guide to Getting Even, how I crushed my homeland with my mighty Grimoires. Synopsis on any list. Elizabeth Layston, daughter of the influential Prime Minister, is a picture-perfect lady on the path of becoming the future queen of the Kingdom of Hydoria. But her life takes a sudden turn for the worse when her fiancé makes a show of publicly calling off their engagement. Soon after, he throws her in jail and starts spreading nasty rumors about her. The encouragement Elizabeth receives from her loyal waiting maid, Muriel, and her inner fury are all she needs to reconsider her goals. Why would she continue devoting herself to a country that doesn't respect her when she can trample over it instead? She will get even with those who wronged her and bring down the damn kingdom, even if it's the last thing she does. Luckily, Elizabeth is no damsel in distress and has 7 powerful magic grimoires she won't hesitate to use. Get ready, because this ruthless lady is out for blood. So this one is a little bit different than other villainous stories. We have our main character, Elizabeth Layston, whatever, the one in the middle. And she's the daughter of the Prime Minister, as we have just heard. And her engagement got called off by the prince. Now, same as always, pretty stupid. Dude, as a prince, you can't really do that. If I was a noble, whenever the prince was doing that publicly, I would think less of him, unless he has really good evidence, which in this case, he does not. He just heard someone was saying she behaved badly. Nonetheless, it's a setup. It's a tavern in a D&D campaign. I take it, sure. It is really quick. So I don't really have a big problem with that, because it is that quick. Now, our girl has the special power of these 7 powerful magic grimoires. Now, she's calling it a divine artifact. So she has one grimoire, as example, that can store spells, and then she can use those spells that she stored. Normally, you can't really use spells that are not aligned with whatever you are proficient in. So this grimoire allows her to circumvent that. Now she also has 6 other grimoires additionally to that one, which all seemingly, or I assume, have like different things they are good at. But that is what she's going to use to get revenge. Now, the king and the prime minister, they are on a little bit of a conference with some other leaders because there's some monster rampage going on. Whatever the case, emergency, they are gone for a second. They hear about this happening. Now the emperor is like, hey, we should probably go back. I should probably discipline my son and stuff like that. He seems like someone, okay, which I can get behind. The prime minister, the dad of the girl, is like, if she can't deal with this herself, then she is not good enough to be the bride of the prince. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? How is this? And after she gets imprisoned, the prime minister, her dad, and the king decide to go and stand behind the prince's decision, which is brain dead, because naturally he is dissolving the marriage because he has found another girl that is manipulating him, and you know, the typical villainous story. But in this case, we are, instead of being like, oh, we want to get better, we are going to live our own life. No, we are going to become a villainess. Now, The idea, I like. I like that we have someone who's like, you know what? I tried my best. She did a lot of work behind the scenes. She did all the work that the prince was supposed to do. She was more or less keeping everything afloat. She was, even the king acknowledges that she did a lot of work. She also had a big company that she managed that was very well regarded. People really liked her. They didn't really know what she looked like, but she had a good reputation. She was a model noble, essentially. A model empress, so to say. But because of that dissolution of the engagement and then the prince deciding to disseminate some nasty rumors about her, this more or less brought her reputation down. People were like, oh, they flipped really quickly. He was also trying to take over her company. He was like, you know what? I did so much. I tried my best. I'm done. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to the other empire and I'm going to destroy the kingdom. Which, to be fair, valid point. And that is what we are more or less doing. Again, the whole build-up of the dissolution of the marriage really quickly done. We then see her coming to terms with, hey, this is maybe not, they don't deserve me, so I'm going somewhere else and I'm going the villainous path. Now, the next 2 episodes of those 3, we see her more or less starting a new life in the empire, making a new company, seeing how she manages that, seeing what she's doing. She seems to be very thrifty, not only by managing her company, but also how she's dealing with competition. She is also very ruthless. She is not someone you want to fuck with. And she's also able to fight because of the Grimoire that can store spells and can replicate them again. She naturally is a good mage. She also is trained in other stuff. She is a model fiancé of the prince, who is probably taught in a lot of different things. And that is the journey we go on. Animation-wise, it's fine. It's fine. We have some action scenes. They don't look particularly good. However, it's not really the point of the story. I really like the main character. I do like that she is leading into the villainous story. She is ruthless with more or less accomplishing her goal. I also like the maid. I don't like the prince. The prince is a garbage character. I do not like characters written like that. It's trash. The girl that is manipulating him, who knows? At the moment, trash. Could be more interesting. Prime Minister and the King, the previous one, both trash. Don't care about them. We also see a little bit more about the prince in like one of the later episodes, but personally I don't care. Leave them out of the story. They're poorly written, they're trash characters. Leave them alone. Ignore them. Sure, you can showcase that stuff is not going well because, you know, our main character Elizabeth was doing most of the lifting. But other than that, leave the characters out. I don't want to see them anymore. They're just not well implemented, as always. Or in most cases, not always. But I do like to see where this is going to go with her trying to amass more power, essentially. And I also am looking forward to see what she's going to do revenge-wise. How is she going to try to destroy the kingdom? Is she going to conquer the kingdom? Is she going to kill the people in the kingdom? What are we going for? I'm very interested in that. Her divine regalia or artifact or whatever, the 7 powerful magic grimoires. I mean, a fine idea, because she was, at the beginning, she was saying that she didn't really divulge the information to her parents and stuff, that she had 7 grimoires. She only was telling them about the one that was able to store and replicate magic. Definitely looking forward to what the other ones can do. Are they, because I personally, I can't really think of 7 fundamentally different concepts for the books, but I'm gonna, stay open. So far, definitely intrigued. The animation is sadly pulling it down a little bit, again, because we did have some combat in the show. Also, there were a couple time skips in which we did some stuff. I assume they skipped that because, anime, you need to skip a little bit, or they at least see the need to skip to the part that they feel is more interesting. I would have liked to see more of her maneuvering and what she was doing and planning, to see the character a little bit more in action instead of seeing the prince as example. Nonetheless, let's see what people thought. AnyList has it at 71%. My anime list 7.09 with 2,500 votes. Me personally, at the moment, I'm also like at a 7 out of 10. I will have to see if, again, I do like the main concept. I like the main character. The animation is not really convincing me. Also, having bad antagonists again, like the prince, and a barely integrated or written characters like the prince and the king and the prime minister, is like, it would be nicer if we had some real opposition there. But if we can, I hope we can see more of her planning and see what she's going to try to accomplish as revenge. And hopefully that is going to be interesting. I do see there is potential here, but it's still not enough for me to recommend.